All right, everyone. So this is Cricut's new hat press. So excited for this. I've tried making hats before using other easy presses from the Cricut line, and where some were easier to use than others, there were still a lot of parts that were more difficult that were all solved with this new hat press. So let's go over, first of all, what comes in the box. You get your hat press, you get your little protective base, and I'll talk about that in a second. It comes with a hat form. This is like your heat press hat form. And then it comes with a roll of heat resistant strong grip tape. Because if you're using sublimation things, then you'll tape your design to the hat, and even sometimes with heat transfer vinyl, so it doesn't shift when you're trying to press it. Okay, so let's talk about the heat press itself. Just like the other easy presses, it does have a really quality little heat plate on here where you get even heating from corner to corner. But if you notice on this one, the actual heat plate is curved. And that's because with hats, it's a curved surface, and you want to be able to get perfect, even temperature heating all the way across the board to get the best results, whether you're using heat transfer vinyl or you're using sublimation or infusible ink on the hats. Now you can use this hat press with a variety of different hats. My daughter really wants me to do a bucket hat for her with designs all around it, which I am so excited to do. I've got a trucker hat right here and a baseball hat to show you. This one I did with heat transfer vinyl, and this one with the sublimation. The hat form itself is really nice and sturdy. The hats fit on there, and then you just tighten it up so that way you get that perfect support on for the hat as you're pressing it. Now, one of the things I do love about all of Cricut's heat presses is their protective bases. Cricut wants to make sure that their machines are safe to use, even around children, because you know, like a lot of us have little hands around. And one of the biggest worries of those old home like irons that you use to press your clothing is when you're not using it, you put it up on its side and it can tip over and burn you if you bump into it. Well, Cricut's heat presses, when they're not in use, go into the protective base, which goes and covers up and around the heat plate. The rest of the base and the unit itself are made with cool to the touch plastic. So even if you bump into this, even when it's 400 degrees, you're not going to get burned. The only hot part is this plate itself, which is completely covered in that protective base. Isn't that awesome? Okay, now if you notice on the press, this is very similar to the Easy Press Mini. You don't see temperatures, you don't see timers. Basically it has an on and off button, and you have a button where you can adjust between 3 default heat settings. The lowest one is more of your standard heat transfer vinyls, thinner. They're a little bit thinner on there, so that they don't need as much heat. The middle settings for your more specialty heat transfer vinyls like glitter and holographic that take a higher heat to really get the adherence that you need on your project. And then the highest one is what you'd use for infusible ink sublimation. But sometimes, depending on the materials you're using, you need an exact temperature, and it comes in handy if you have a timer. So because of that, Cricut came out with their Cricut Heat app that you can download onto your Android or iOS phone. And with this, if you don't want to just use their default low, medium, and high heat settings, you can click and say start new project and say, well, I am using everyday iron-on, and I'm using it on the ball cap. And then you go next, and it'll tell you the exact temperature and time that you need to use it, and it will send the information Bluetooth to your heat press, and it will set that up for you. And then when you hit go, the timer will start on the app on your cell phone, so it'll time it for you. And it also has a little button right here that says detailed instructions. If you need specific instructions for how to layer the stuff, how to set it up, especially if you're doing like sublimation on there, do you need butcher paper, do you have to preheat the hats, it will step-by-step talk you through all of that on your phone so you don't mess anything up. So it really automates the whole thing. Now, the reason it comes with strong grip heat resistant tape is you really don't want your design shifting on your hat as you're pressing it. So this is just that special heat resistant tape that you can put around the edges of your design so it holds firmly in place as you're pressing your hat. So love this hat press. If you are wanting to get into making more hats, this is definitely a must have. It makes the whole process streamlined and super easy, even if you're a total beginner. And like I said, you can do it in a variety of hats, from children to adult, bucket hats, large hats, ball caps, trucker hats, and you can customize them for your friends, for your family, or even for your small business. But love Cricut's hat press.